Hello everyone, my name is Valerie, and today I will be presenting about the Sedona International Film Festival, which is a nonprofit located in Sedona, Arizona. In the presentation, I will be covering some information about the history and background of the festival itself, in addition to a summary of an interview I conducted with the executive director, Patrick Schweiss. And I will offer a peek into the event coordination process and how to get involved with the film festival. So what does the Sedona Film Festival look like in numbers? Last year, the festival raised $2.25 million, which is spread out to a lot of different programs that the festival itself plans and coordinates, in addition to the build and upkeep of local theaters and the pay of their staff members. All of this is done and coordinated by 5 active full-time staff members, and the festival itself runs 365 days a year with little to no breaks. The film festival itself was founded in 1995 as a 5-day film festival and has since expanded to a 9-day festival that takes place in the end of February every year. This year, the festival will be celebrating its 28th anniversary. However, in 2012, new projects were added to the film festival itself that pushed the film festival to rebrand and create the following mission statement on the right. The Sedona International Film Festival is a year-long celebration of the power of independent film and multicultural programming to inspire, educate, entertain, and enlighten. A lot of aspects, like mentioned, went into this rebranding. One of the biggest ones was the build and opening of the Mary D. Fisher Theater. This is located in Sedona and is the big theater that is owned by the Sedona Film Festival. They host some of the showings of their 9-day film festival here, in addition to year-round showings of films, ballets, theater performances, and more. Currently, the festival is building the Alice Gill Sheldon Theater, which will be a slightly smaller 46th theater, and that will be opening in May of 2022 this year. In addition to year-long showings of events in the festival itself, workshops for filmmakers were also one of the really big reasons that the film festival thought to expand its mission statement to really incorporate all aspects of what the Sedona International Film Festival incorporates. So as mentioned, the Sedona Film Festival is more than just the film festival it puts on in May. Of course, the film festival itself is really, really impressive. It's 9 days of films, 170 films total, which is the average. And all these independent films have a great variety of topics and come from all different walks of life and all different nations. A part of this 9-day film festival is VIP events. This could be movie premieres, red carpets, VIP lounges, donor dinners, and more. So it's more than just showing films. All these smaller events have to be planned, coordinated, and built into the bigger one. Then in terms of year-round activities, there are films that are shown every day, 365 days a year, so all year long, with some exceptions, of course, for holidays. And there's also workshops that are integrated into the film festival, the 9-day festival, but are also offered year-round. And these are not just for professional independent filmmakers, but also for students and people who just are interested in film in general. So I met with Patrick Schweiss, the current executive director of the Sedona International Film Festival, to speak about his role as executive director and what goes into planning so many different events and the 9-day film festival itself, of course. Pat has been the executive director of the film festivals for 17 years and counting. And in terms of his responsibilities, he explained that since there is quite a small staff, he has a really wide range of responsibilities. This is fundraising, volunteer coordination of his staff, talking with local hospitality to make sure that his filmmakers are taken care of, And the list goes on and on. One of the main reasons I met with him is to talk about what different stages look like for him in the event management process. So Pat offered us a look into the 9-day Sedona International Film Festival, what that looks like and how he and his team execute it. The first stage of his planning process takes place in getting in contact with all kinds of filmmakers that he thinks would have films he wants to display at his film festival. When these filmmakers are contacted, contracts are drawn up and signed to make sure that they have 2 showings at the film festival and agree to be there. Then to schedule this, Pat has a slightly more complicated, detailed process. He focuses a lot on the more old school things by doing Post-it notes for his scheduling. He creates 2 Post-it notes per film, since each film gets 2 showings. And he places these on a physical schedule in front of him, which, in his opinion, prevents the opportunity for mistakes. For example, if you're just running things in an online calendar, it's really easy to accidentally click delete or cut something and forget to paste it again. And you're not realizing, oh, look, this one film has 2 showings and this film has 3, or another film only has 1. So Post-it notes prevent these mistakes from happening. It takes a little bit of time, and most of this process goes through Pat himself. But once this is done, we can go into stage 2, which is planning the rest of the film's festival around the film schedule. So red carpets, for example, have to be planned before the premiere of the film the red carpet is for, and small events such as this. Workshops, communicating with advertisers, coordinating hospitality, when do the filmmakers need to be in town, all of that is also incorporated into stage 2. The last stage is the execution of the event itself and managing volunteers for the event. Volunteers are really key because they are a large part of the success of the film festival, since a 5-person staff can't control a festival over 9 days where they have to work 12 hours a day possibly. So volunteers is what really keeps the International Film Festival afloat and successful during the 9 days it's executed in. In addition to this, the execution of the event to make sure that everything goes as smoothly as planned, Pat and his other staff members are there to make sure there is support for the volunteers to make sure everything is going well and to communicate with guests. Putting on such a large event and also continuing smaller versions thereof throughout the year is, of course, a lot of work, especially for only 5 people to do. But Pat emphasizes why he loves his job so much and why he continues to do it in this inspiring quote. We touch so many people on so many levels every day with what we are doing, whether it's a documentary that helps someone heal through a family tragedy or exposes someone to something that they've never heard of before. Pat explains that the true success of an art-based event nonprofit is not just the execution of the event, but the passion of those people planning it. You are interacting with your audience, and the films that you put on and the effort you put in truly shows an event like this. So it's a key thing to keep in mind when you're in this type of nonprofit setting, that just doing your job to earn your money is not going to be enough. You have to love what you do and you have to appreciate what you do. In addition to this passion, Pat mentions 3 main takeaways in nonprofit event management: organization, networking, and communication. Organization is key because it keeps you alive and calm in a quite time-consuming and stressful industry. Breaks are important. Staying flexible and organized is important to prevent yourself from being burnt out. If you burn out, you and your team are not going to work effectively together, and you will lose that passion that is key to making this event successful. Networking was not directly mentioned, but throughout the interview, Pat brought up his relationships with local journalists in Sedona and journalists throughout Arizona, which have helped him publicize his event effectively and reach the audiences he wants. So that's important, in addition to having and maintaining relationships with your guests and your artists to get them to come back and to get them to show their films at the festival. And communication is the third point, which ties directly into organization and networking. Keep up with your donors, continue to provide content, write press releases to make sure journalists are getting information. And then, of course, communicate with your team. Communication with everyone who is in the event planning process is key to make sure everything runs smoothly from one member to another. I hope this presentation gave you a good look into what the Sedona International Film Festival does as a nonprofit and some informational tips about how to execute a great film festival itself. If you have any questions, feel free to contact the Sedona Film Festival team at info@sedonafilmfestival.com or at the phone number mentioned here above. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a great day.